Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back at ECCMID TV. I'm very pleased to introduce my next guest for this afternoon, who is Professor Önder Ergönül, who's a professor of infectious diseases at the Koç University in Istanbul, Turkey. So a warm welcome to you, Önder. Happy to have you here. You are also well known for your work as a member of the executive committee in ESCCMID, where you serve as a communications and publications officer. And I think one of the most interesting things to talk about now is your specialty interest, which is a very topical interest at the moment, because you are specialized in emerging viral infections, right?
Yes, that's true.
I can imagine you are very busy with that at the time.
Yes, I mean, especially by starting COVID-19, and it turned out to be a pandemic. As a clinician, epidemiologist, and a researcher, so I was so busy about COVID-19. Still, we are very busy. Everybody is waiting some results from us, some decisions, some opinions. At least, for instance, nowadays there is the Delta variant increasing in many countries unexpectedly. And what is going to happen after this in terms of the efficiency, effectiveness of the vaccines, effectiveness of the therapy, etc. So in terms of therapy, there is no change. But in terms of vaccine, some countries are considering getting the third injection, third shot of the vaccine. Some countries are already doing. Turkey is one of them, but some countries are just stopping, depending on the type of the vaccines that you have done, because the effectiveness were different in different vaccines. I mean, there is a Chinese one, there is, the American German, let's say, Pfizer-BioNTech, and AstraZeneca, their effectiveness ranges between 60% to 95%. Therefore, some colleagues of mine considers that we need to have the third injection, third shot, especially before the autumn, because in autumn, every country wants to open their schools. The kids should go to the schools because they got bored in the homes, in the flats, in apartments, houses, and the economies of the countries are getting very bad, unemployment in many sectors, etc. So these are the common problems. Interesting, the global problems affect in almost every countries, but there is, of course, inequity or uneven developments in different countries. Some poor countries are suffering more. Also, they are not getting enough vaccines.
No.
So that's a problem, great problem. And then, luckily, we have some international organizations. At least we provide a platform to talk about this and to create some measures, like World Health Organization or ESCMID, European Society of Clinical Microbial Infectious Diseases.
How does ESCMID facilitate this?
From the beginning, ESCMID, Emerging Infections Task Force, worked very actively. It was nice to their active work because starting from the January 2020, we were in close contact and we were waiting some cases, but we were considering there might be some interesting cases in ECCMID 2020, which would have happened in Paris, in fact,
Yes.
but it couldn't. We were not foreseeing, of course. Nobody.
No, we couldn't predict this. No.
Yeah, couldn't predict it. But then it turned out to be a very interesting topic, and COVID-19 pandemic examined us from even every cells of our bodies. I mean, in terms of virology, epidemiology, clinical knowledge, our therapies. This was a huge global examination for the health professionals. Also communication as well. So it has to be interdisciplinary work together with clinicians, basic scientists, and social scientists as well, in terms of psychology, sociology, and communication. So this was a very interesting experience. In fact, it was very scary for all of the people. We were also scared, but this was our job. So we were performing our profession. This was our unique role. It was like a war for us. I mean, we are at the front line. So on one hand, we fight at the clinical aspect. On the other hand, every night, we were reading the papers and trying to catch up with the literature, writing them, reading them. Still, it was good for us. I mean, in a way, because we were living highly concentration of our profession.
Yeah. So how does an ECCMID, a congress on microbiology and infectious diseases, serve our experts on viral emerging infections? Is it useful that we're having an ECCMID now, or is it too soon? Would you rather have this one cancelled as well because the focus is so is so strongly on COVID-19 and we need to battle that first? How are you reflecting on that?
Yeah, we already did ECCMID, not ECCMID, but ECCMID. That means a viral conference earlier.
Yes.
In fact, it was timely, and now ECCMID is also so necessary because I follow up the sessions, and I can see that many of the colleagues are getting useful interaction, information, and also interaction. Interaction is important. I mean, you can get information from any source. It is possible right now from the internet, etc. But here the interaction is important. And another thing I should emphasize that the communication, although it is virtual, shows the solidarity. This is very important. We shouldn't forget about this, especially for ECCMID. This is a very important role because otherwise nations are getting into themselves, getting closer with their own problems. Also the individuals. I mean, besides the countries, individuals are getting by themselves, and it makes depression. It means depression, in fact. But when we get together, today, for instance, I can give an example. There was a career session. It was very nice. I got energy from my young colleagues all over Europe or all over the world, in fact. Because ESCMID now is a world society, not only the European society.
And what was it that gave you the energy? Was it the connection you could make with other young investigators, or was it new insights or hearing about new developments?
Yeah, to see the enthusiasm of others. I mean, it's not easy to keep your enthusiasm by yourself. So getting interaction and enthusiasm from your colleagues, and it's the solidarity, it's the support. So this is very important. So I realized that we missed this. Yeah. And ESCMID is important, at least with this very important issue. Of course, many other things as well. For instance, transferring the knowledge, science, supporting the science. And this is our motto, as you know, the promoting science. So, and also we have seen the science and evidence-based medicine, how important during such a pandemic and the health problems. In fact, pandemic was just concentration of everything, or it was like just looking to a problem with a lens, with a magnifier, because it magnified the problems. So we lived a very concentrated time, full of with our own professional problems. So therefore, now some things are more clear. One thing is we should increase our international collaboration capacity much better. We should be more active, and we should defend and promote science more actively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but with a lot of the focus on COVID-19, did this change the content of your research work? Because I believe before COVID, you were also very much involved in the emerging viral infections, but they must have been of a different nature, right?
Yeah, exactly. Of course, I mean, if there wouldn't be COVID-19, we will be again busy. The life is very interesting because we are complaining about being busy, but we would be busy in any way with some other diseases. Like, for instance, in Turkey now, there is an ongoing problem, Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever. Still, we have many cases right now this summer. This disease starts by March, April, because the weather is getting warmer and the ticks are getting active. When the weather gets warmer, ticks are getting active, and it ends up to the winter time. So the people, especially at the rural area, rural Anatolia, the people who have been exposed to the ticks might be infected, and we have such cases. And this summer and last few summers, again, there are cases around Madrid in Spain. So we were, for instance, among this COVID-19, we were communicating with Spanish colleagues as well, transferring knowledge, know-how, and some Spanish colleagues came to Turkey in some universities to get experience.
Yeah.
And we are planning some common research, etc. But of course, the interesting thing, I think the human brain learns from comparing or connecting the things. I
Yes.
mean, now we can learn many things from COVID-19 for Crimean Congo or Ebola kind of hemorrhagic fevers as well, because these were all caused by the viruses. They hit different organs, but the pathogenesis, there are some similarities in the basis. This is very exciting for me, and we are going to focus on this.
So even if it's that different clinical manifestations, you're still looking for the common pathway, also to enlighten more on the differences and how, or to unravel each virus's own pathway.
Yeah, Judith, I think at the beginning there is a root, common root.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, after this common root, there are branching things. I mean, they are branching in terms of pathogenesis through some cascades of the roots, and then some hits the liver, some hits the brain, for instance, West Nile fever,
Yes.
and some viruses hits the lungs, like SARS-CoV-2 or SARS. They hit different organs. So therefore, trying to find out their common roots, first common roots, and then detailing their pathways through the cascades. This is very interesting. This is what we are working on that. And very exciting. Therefore, if you, and now I can teach also to our students and our colleagues, saying that infectious diseases became the origin of the, or at the center of the medicine. So now you cannot talk about medicine without infectious diseases. This is very important for our society as well, also for our specialty.
Yeah.
Because especially in the developed world or in Western world, infectious diseases were perceived as like a marginal kind of practice of medicine. Well, okay, these are infectious diseases, like the tropical medicine kind of things can be seen in less developed world, etc. But now everybody will accept that without infectious diseases, without understanding the pathogenesis of for instance, COVID-19, you can never understand the other ones. So we are happy in that way.
And one infectious disease can shut down the whole world for a period of time. Yeah. Yeah, I think the general population has gotten more respect for microorganisms in general. Yeah. So this ECCMID, will you be looking forward to seeing more on SARS-CoV-2, or will you also be looking at the other viral emerging infections, or is there not that much research anymore on the other, for example, the Crimean Congo hemorrhagic fever? Is there still research being done, or?
No, interestingly, it increased the energy also for Crimean Congo and Ebola, because this is like a translational medicine. I mean, translating the information that we get from COVID-19, and many people are thinking that how we can apply this information, this knowledge to Crimean Congo or Ebola or other things. So therefore, I believe it's already stimulated the other diseases as well, because there are too many. I mean, maybe 100,000, even maybe more. I'm scared to say millions, but lots of publications, almost millions of publications in last 1.5 years about the pathogenesis, about the immunology. We learned many new things. We are going to apply all this information or test or examine this information or knowledge for some other diseases for the next years.
Yep.
Therefore, it will be exciting, and we are going to have a jump maybe in terms of scientific development as the humanity. And then there are many other problems. This is for virology, but also there is antibiotic resistance, for instance, which is a huge problem. Before that, we were saying antibiotic resistance will end the humanity, for instance. There was such a word said by the president of WHO. So antibiotic resistance is going to be the #1 problem. In fact, still it's a problem, of course. Still it's a problem. Some colleagues are still working on that. Also, we are working on this. And combining them, making a compact, information. On one hand, it seems too big, too many topics, but for us, it is exciting because you can have more connections, more synthesis. And I believe out of these connections, out of this synthesis, new ideas will come up. So this is the exciting part of our branch.
Yeah, very interesting. Is there one new development in particular that has really caught your interest during this ECCMID? Or maybe one of the important things that you are looking forward to hearing more on?
Well, I think, of course, in terms of immunology, I mean, this is very interesting to see what our colleagues are doing in terms of immunology. I mean, to decoding the codes of the body. Immunology means decoding the codes, breaking the codes, etc. Yes, these are important. And also, I'm going to share some keynote lectures on hepatitis C, etc. So, in virology is very interesting. Hepatitis C is an interesting problem. Some vaccine studies also that will be very interesting. Now we have very interesting new vaccines for, as you know, in COVID-19. So mRNA vaccines were used as the first one in the history. Yes. So now we are going to see how we can apply this technology in some other diseases, including hepatitis C, for instance. Can we do it? We don't know, but we are going to explore this in some keynote lectures and some sessions as well. Also, even maybe Ebola and Crimean Congo, etc., that kind of things. So this was the most important development in the time of the COVID-19 pandemic. But I would like to see, how this information was forced or examined for some other new fields, etc.
Yes.
It comes to me very interesting, yes.
Yes, I really want to benefit from just slightly different specialty areas with their new developments, so get some sort of crossover. Yeah, that would be really nice. I would like to thank you for taking the time in your very busy schedule to come on here live in our studio through the live stream and give us some insights and share some of your processes and stories from your daily life. I think it's very interesting being on top of the news if emerging viral infections are your topic of interest. So thank you for sharing. I think that was very wonderful. For our viewers, we will be checking in again at 6 p.m. in a little under an hour, and we will be speaking with another executive committee member of ESCMID, and that is Professor Emmanuelle Cambo, and she will be here live in the studio, so make sure you don't miss that. Thank you again, Önder, and have a wonderful ECCMID.
Thank you, you too. Thank you, Judith. Have a nice day.
Bye-bye.